very fundamental question, Dilip. I do get inspired when I listen to you on TV, etc. But the question is this: you did say that your background is science and all that. So, when you give explanations, are you giving a scientific answer to a problem that already existed, or are you actually have you studied the things and then providing the answers as the original people who thought of Hinduism first thought, or are you just,
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
You see, this is a very personal question. Asking me exactly what is your way of thinking, how did you approach the subject? Are you basically a religious person then trying to give scientific explanation, or are you basically a scientist trying to kind of see science in deeper way, which is becoming religious? It's a very, very brilliant question. You see, look, this is the story of almost all the Hindu youngsters in the Western world. Somehow, because of our tradition, we've been brought up, we are attracted to the idea of religion. It comes naturally in us. With નાનેથી બધું જોયું ને એટલે આકર્ષણ થાય, we are attracted. But as we go to the adult stage, the youth stage, our rational faculty begins to kick in and then causes problem for us. This is the story of almost all the Hindu youth in the Western world. If they are 10-year-old, they તમે ધર્મ માનો છો, બધા કહે માનીએ હનુમાન we love. When they are 16, you say તમે આ રિલિજનમાં ભાગતા ફરે, અહીંયા નહીં આવે. એ કે આ કોને શું વિચિત્ર વાત કરે, આ ધર્મ બરમ ના બધું weird stuff છે, વિચિત્ર છે. They walk away. When your rational faculty kicks in, lot of things that are dished out in the name of religion don't fit. And look, my story is exactly the same. I had the same issue. When I was 16, 15 perhaps, I was fighting my father left, right and center. This is all superstition, just a human ploy. તમે બધાને આ બધા સરખી રીતે બિહેવ કરે એટલે આ બધું બનાવી કાઢ્યું તમે. છે જ નહીં આ બધું, હોય જ ક્યાંથી આવું બધું. Same boat. So my story is the same story as most Hindu youth or most thinking youth of in the Western world. We love this, we are both brought up in a religion, so we kind of sing hymns and go to the church and all that. But once we are 15, 16, we move away. In modern schools today in United Kingdom, because I survey, I ask questions when I go. I say, how many really believe? Really believe? You tick your name as Christian because it's your tradition. We understand that. Nam like the tick mairi. But sache tame mano છો આમાં? Do you truly believe all this stuff? They say no. Fact. Majority of 16 years I am coming across now in schools, so 16 to 18 age group especially, are now atheist or agnostic. Nastik athwa agnayvadi. Don't want to believe. This is the mari ઠોક્યું તમે લોકોએ. This God business doesn't help us. They make fun of God, saying, Agishwara ક્યાં બેઠો ને શું કરે છે. See, same journey. I took the same journey. I would have been an atheist, a crass atheist, pakko nastik hotu, if I had not come across the life and teachings of my mentor. If I had not come across his teachings, I would have been an atheist. I would today be challenging religions. Because I came across the teaching of this one person called Swami Vivekananda and his mentor and his master Ramakrishna, that stole my heart. Look, I'll tell the real story. When I was 17, I was like that, in a very different mood, studying physics at Imperial College. Suddenly I discovered the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. It was in Gujarati, by the way. It came, I bought it, I just saw it, I started reading. The moment I started reading, the physics is the best of time. This is real stuff. This is magic. This is the treasure. So from being a science-oriented person, I became a real devout Hindu, interested in the deeper aspects of Hinduism. So from the age of 17 to 21, 4 years, I did nothing. I was going to physics to do just for the sake of going to the university, but my mind was fully engaged in the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, day and night. 4 times a day I used to meditate, 4 times a day. At the age of 17 in London, find youngsters who do that. So that is my background. So I've got my feet on both sides of the camp. On one side studying science, on the other side in tremendous love with the deeper ideas of religion that I discovered in Swami Vivekananda.
In these rituals, we come and do every day, but we do not know why we do it, how we do it, and how we should do towards finding and going towards our Atma.
You see, first of all, you may be surprised. It's one thing for you to put me up on stage here and try and dig into my inner being and see what I'm made of and what I possess. So you try and suss out, if you like, the caliber or the capacity of your speaker. But there's the other part of the equation. When anybody comes and asks a question, an astute person can immediately see the depth of this individual. Sometimes you give away yourself when you ask a question. You show your true colors. And the thing that touches me is whenever I see some real passion for the subject, and that passion pours out through this kind of very, deep-rooted question, then I'm immediately taken aback, because that is what I like. You see, if this enterprise is just mere, tokenistic, then what's the point? It must be heart-wrenching. It must touch your heart. It must grab your heart and make you kind of get, if you like, fully engaged. So when I find anybody asking me with such devotion, I immediately put my hands up, marvelous, marvelous. That's why I said, give me some more time. You see, this journey this is a true criticism of Hinduism. It's saying your initial journey was inwards, trying to discover what is our essential nature, and that's how we discovered the idea of Atman. That is the foundation of the Upanishadic teachings. The Upanishads hardly talk about gods. They talk about Atman and Brahman day and night, about our essential nature as divine, is made of nothing but Asti, Bhati, Priya, Sat, Chit, Anand. Our essential nature is the spirit, and all these externals are just ploys, including narratives and gods and goddesses and rituals and worship. They say, look, these are secondary ploys. The essential heart of Hinduism, since ancient times, has always been searching within. This journey of rediscovering our essential nature as the spirit is how Hinduism started. But in order to facilitate this journey, look, I'm trying to be honest to Hinduism and give it dignity. In order to facilitate this journey, that's how I started my talk today. We conjured up lots of instruments. Now, as long as the instruments are well understood and used in a proper sense, they can be useful. If they are not understood in the true sense, then they can become counterproductive. As this gentleman nicely said, you get wrapped up with the rituals and all the kind of externals. You see, this is the passion, and I like that. And that is true. This is the problem. You see, again, I'm telling you, this is not only with Hinduism. This is true for all religions. All world religions have the same problem. This idea of, in a way, you see, look, let me tell you, I'm really going deep into the philosophy of Hinduism, philosophy of religion. Religions begin when some individual has a fantastic life-transforming experience that charges them up. The person becomes a saint, a sage, a seer, or a rishi, because he has a deeper insight into the nature of reality. He's talking from experience, not some book he read, Rig Veda. So what? He experiences, he sees it, he comes face to face with reality as it is. They become the masters of any religion. They are the figure of authority of every religion. The moment they open their mouth to give expression to their experience, their mindset or the mindset of the society they are interacting with come into play. It cannot be otherwise. Let me give you an example. See, Christ goes into the forest, says the story, and he spends 3 or 4 years in isolation. When he comes back, he's a changed man. He's a enlightened person. Buddha sits under the Bodhi tree, and after that harsh meditation, when he comes out, he's enlightened. He's speaking from experience. Spirit has become experiential for him. He talks, he opens his mouth, it comes with tremendous authority and power. They are life transforming. So really what I am suggesting, this again comes from my mentor Vivekananda, is essentially they both had the same experience. Is when they open their mouth to give expression, try and articulate, find some words to give expression to something, they say, oh, what a wow experience. When they try and give words to it, the words are different. They say, oh, it's difficult to put it in words, they'll say it. First thing they'll say, what we experience is beyond words. All of them will say it, Buddha or Christ or every Hindu prophet. They say it's beyond words. No words can capture what we are talking about. Says the Kathopanishad, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo, na medhaya, na bahuna shrutain. This cannot be captured through any scripture of authority even. This is the dynamism of this experience. Marvelous. They say this beyond words. In the next minute, they start using words to give expression. Why? Because they love humanity. They must communicate this knowledge to the rest of humanity. So they open their mouth. So Christ says, now what will these people think? How can I describe this experience to them? I know. I've seen my Father in heaven. The Father in heaven, the Spirit. But the article, suppose he says, I've seen the Spirit. They say, we throw stones at you. What is this fellow talking about? He said, I've seen the Father in heaven. They say, yes, this makes sense. That was the mindset of the people he was operating. So he used that language. That was the mindset. So the experience was given that expression. So he said, here is God in heaven. So God came into picture, sitting in the heavens. Same way, you see, with different prophets, when they give expression to their experience, there will be variation. The variation is reflected in the mindset they have and the mindset of the society they are operating with. So in the same way, one experience produces variety of religions, giving different expression. Don't underestimate or undermine any of them. This is Hinduism, pluralism. Many ways to experience or express the idea of the spirit. Let it be. Why are you reducing it? Why are you compromising it? See the beauty, the magnanimity of this religion. We pay a price, as I said. We lose sometimes our congregation in the process. But this is the depth of Hinduism. So, initially, we are trying to give expression to this experience. And in the Upanishadic teachings, it comes out as Atman and Brahman, the key words, appearing and reappearing. And they appear like, what is it? What is it? In fact, look, if you ask many Hindus, what is Atman? They say, I don't know, vegetable. I don't know, what is Atman? They don't know, no clue. And yet that's the heart of Hindu teaching. So, what is the position? In order for these deeper ideas, the subtle ideas to become accessible to humanity, we are not compromising. We are not saying we are bad for that. We have generated this whole kind of enterprise of gods and goddesses, the narration, the storytelling, the liturgy, the rituals, all the fasting and the festivals. We produce all of this. Why? So that we can refocus our mind on this idea of our deeper dimension, the spirit. But we are not apologizing for it. Suppose it gets misused, suppose it wraps us up, so be it. We recognize its potency, but we say then tidy up. That's why I was telling you, that's how I started. Tidy up your liturgy, tidy up your narrative, then this enterprise becomes again helpful to your society. But if you don't tidy it up, as this gentleman in a nice way said, you get wrapped up in it and you could get lost in it. And you lose the heart of your religion. But it's a marvelous way to finish and end this session. First of all, before I finish, let me say I'm really grateful for this group to ask me such lovely questions, that I can dig deeper and pull out hopefully some interesting ideas and answers. Anyway, it's been real pleasure, and I'm hoping to come here more regularly.
In Hinduism, we dedicate a lot of our worship time towards performing rituals like bathing the gods or doing offerings like rice and the tilak. So what's the relevance of it, and why do we place so much emphasis on that aspect of worship?
Now you see, whenever you drag the youth screaming and crying, saying, come here, you have to do this ritual, this is the day, a festival day, you have to do this, go to the temple, take a coconut, crack it. Leave us, it doesn't appeal to us. Why are you forcing this down our throat? The liturgy, the rituals. You see, so it is a natural kind. When you ask your parents, your grandparents, or whoever, I mean, I'm talking generally, not attacking any individual family, they will say, do you know what's the standard answer? We've been doing it. Our forefathers have been doing it. You do it, otherwise I'll thump you. Come on, we all did it. Don't be so offensive. Don't be rude to us. It's our tradition. They will say that because they don't know. It is best to admit ignorance than to impose it, saying, no, it is crucial. Say, I don't know. Find somebody who knows the answer. And then perhaps you can do it or you may not do it. Okay, let me just touch on it very briefly because I want to take on lots of questions. You see, in every religion, there are three aspects. There is the narrative, the story part, very important. Look, if I did do the story of Vivekananda, if I'm giving high philosophy, you'll go, what is he on about? But I show a person, I show his photograph, see, he is Vivekananda, this is what he, yeah, makes sense. You need a narrative, a story format to present subtle ideas. So every religion will have some narrative. When I say narrative, it may be stories of the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Purans, or stories of modern proponents of religion. We need narrative to get our mind around subtle ideas. Look, aren't stories much easier to understand and grasp than just bland philosophy? So that's the reason. Every religion has it. It's got a purpose behind it. It's very important. It allows to present very deep ideas in a digestible manner. Don't underestimate the power of storytelling. That's why when we are little, we hear the stories of Ganesh and Ram and Krishna, and we love it. Yeah, we love Hinduism. You get drawn. That's one reason. One aspect or one dimension to religion, all religions. There's a second one. The second dimension is rituals or liturgy. Now this aspect is also important, even though every youth saying, oh, I'm getting a headache, I don't want to come. The reason why it's important is this. You see, if you know the why of it, then depending on, when the circumstances change, you can adjust it because you know the why, and as long as the why is looked after, you don't mind making alterations. But if you don't know the why, you are stuck in a rut. You have to just repeat what you've been doing without knowing why, and you're stuck with it. So it's best to look at the why. Why do we do it? The Hindus give 4 answers, not 1, 4, why we do any ritual, any liturgy. The first reason they say is it acts as a reminder. You see, our lives are so fast. Look, if your mummy and your daddy were not doing tinkling bells and lighting a lamp on incense stick and going run very fast in the morning, if they were not doing it, you will lose all link with religion. Because you saw them doing it, you said, I don't know what they are up to. And therefore, you see, it gives you a link to your religion. It gives you, it's a reminder. It acts as a reminder because life is so fast. Unless you put some liturgy, some kind of ritual, the higher ideas get lost with this very mundane, worldly life that we lead. We are so caught up. Remember, look, every one of you is in a rush every morning. Haven't you noticed? And when you come, we are knocked out and we must watch this program. And it's so hectic. So this ritual, in a way, springs up and says, hold on, there's something higher, not just eating, drinking and burping. There's more to you. And it points a direction, higher direction. So it's a reminder, one reason. The second reason is, you see, in a way, it acts as a discipline. Unless you put in certain saying, okay, I have to get up at 6 o'clock every morning and do this worship or do this meditation, it presents a discipline. It says, discipline yourself. Rather than just live in a kind of haphazard manner like an animal, put some discipline in your life. So it's the second reason is discipline. The third reason is, it is a symbolic gesture. You see, we are struggling with this abstraction about God. Who is God? Where is He? Who has seen it? You know, okay, Narsi Mehta, good for him, not good for me. So we struggle, it's abstraction. So it's a symbolic gesture. You see, we all use symbols. Don't underestimate the power of symbols. You know, all of you study physics and maths, and you know that without your X, Y, Z and all this, it's symbol. If you say, what is X? Don't ask, it's just we use it. It's symbolism. So use symbols to get your mind around subtle things and manipulate ideas using symbolism. That's what we are doing. We are trying to use symbolism related to higher ideals, not just material ideals, but higher ideals, symbolic. There's a fourth reason. It may have direct benefit. How can it have direct benefit? Look, if, for example, Bakul Bhai sits in the morning and is meditating for half an hour, for that half an hour, he has put in tremendous discipline, hard work to become one-pointed. It will give results. It will produce beneficial results. Every activity you do will produce certain consequences. So this is the fourth reason. It will have direct benefit. Suppose you repeat a mantra, suppose you repeat a particular verse. A mantra is normally name of God. You repeat that. By just repeating that again and again and again until it becomes your second nature, you will soon find that it is producing a really real physical change in your own being. Your whole system is affected. It has become part and is vibrating within your system. It seems to empower you. It gives you tremendous power. So it has direct benefits, immediate benefits. Literally, it follows through. So these are the four reasons why we do liturgy. So when you understand things like that, then suppose circumstances change, you can adjust your liturgy, because as long as you know the meaning behind it, the reason behind it, you can adjust. Some people say, oh Dilip Bhai, we have to use this betel leaf. And I said, suppose you can't get betel leaf. Use a maple leaf, I said. You say, oh no, we can't, it's written in the book. I said, no, where is it written? This ability to shift, changing circumstances, ability to adjust yourself. You must have a self-adjusting mechanism in religion if religions have to be relevant in our times. If they are stuck in a rut, you are finished. And your children will, your youngsters will reject your religion. But if you give them answers, if you give them reasons, see why we do this, why we this, then they will, they'll steal their heart. I'm going to repeat one joke because I think they need it. I'm very naughty, very naughty. With children, I'm really worse than children. And I used to teach a lot of little children, 4, 5, 6 year old about Hinduism, and I said, look, boys, girls, listen. This God and religion is a hassle, but let me explain to you in simple English what's going on. You see, God, I said, is like a coconut. Big, juicy inside, flesh and drink, nice, sweet, well covered, well protected. Big one is a coconut. That's why we give respect to coconut, I said. I said, these saintly figures, Vivekananda and Tulsi and all this lovely personality, Tukaram, I said, they are also nuts. They are like cashew nut and walnut, tasty nuts, but not as big as coconut. They say, that's making sense, Dilip uncle. Our final question to you is, who are we? I said, we? Easy, we are peanuts. But the thing that links all of us, God, saints and us, is the word not. Not. They said, this makes a lot of sense to us now.
Well, I can understand why someone who's religious would want to be moral and live a moral life and be good to everyone else. But why should someone who's an atheist be moral?
This question was asked yesterday by somebody who asked it in a very sophisticated manner. He said, there's one golden rule that seems to apply to all religions. And of course, the atheists also apply that rule. And that rule is very simple about ethics. What's the foundation of ethics? This is how the humanists define ethics. This is how all religions will be happy to define ethics. They say, do unto others as you would want them to do to you. This is the golden rule. This is how you become ethical. You say, look, here is this chocolate cake. Of course, my attention is always on the chocolate cake. How do we divide it so that everybody has it, so we don't have to fight over it, so everybody gets it, otherwise it will become crumbs. We'll fight over it, there will be crumbs on the floor. So how do we become gentlemanly? We all take one piece and share it and don't pinch everybody else's chocolate cake or whatever. So do unto others that you would like them to do unto you. So I don't step on your toes, you don't step on my toes. That sounds like a fair arrangement to be civilized, for a civilized society, to adopt some kind of mechanism which allows us to coexist in a peaceful manner. Sounds so clever, so clever. I mean, of course, you go to UCL or London School of and they'll teach you the social sciences. This is what it's called. It's called engineering, society. Marvelous stuff. Now, this is standard thing. Every religion likes the idea. And of course, Hinduism likes the idea too. This is the foundation of ethics. And the humanists like it. If you check the humanists, what is your central teaching? They say, this is what our central teaching. You don't thump somebody because you don't want him to thump you as well. This is the whole way. It's commerce, business, business. It sounds straightforward. But of course, with Vivekananda, you get one deeper idea behind it. He says, so far so good. You have done business. We are baniyas, Gujaratis, but baniya, vyapar karnu. Tamne ne maru, tamare manni marwanu. That's going on. That's all right. But is there a deeper idea behind it? Oh yes, there is a deeper idea. And this is the unique feature about religion. It says that not only learn how to live with each other, કે આમની સાથે આમના વર્તન કરાય ને આની સાથે આમ વર્તન કરાય અને માન આપવાનું, deliberate using Gujarati. It's not just that, there is more to it. Learning to live not with each other, that's social science, that's atheism can use it, atheists can use it. But learning to live for each other, બીજાના માટે જીવો. Now you see, humanists say, Jay, we understand you, we like you, are a lovely Hindu. In fact, they love me, I'm a very popular British Humanist Association. But how can you live for somebody else? That's just a ploy. I say, it's not a ploy. Actually, you are living for others. Why? The same thing that's here is there. That's what Hinduism teaches. You are stuck with each other. We can't help it. So you don't be good to others simply because it's written in a book and this is the law of ethics and you follow that. You are stuck with each other. You can't help yourself. So if you help somebody, don't even call it charity. You're just helping yourself. Shush. And they said, this is good, unusual stuff. I don't know where you get stuff like that. I said, get it from Vivekananda. Read him. See the depth of this teaching. It gives you a reason why to be ethical. Because we are stuck with the rest of the living kingdom. The same thing percolating and shining out in this eye is shining out there. I'm stuck. So I'm not doing it because there's a commerce, I'm trying to do business. Again, why is this idea so important in modern society? Let me explain. Let it be visible. In modern society, your wedding ceremony, of course, you must have been invited today. A lot of people don't come because they're going to reception, I know. So there's a reception taking place and the families are all rich and well-to-do and they spend £100,000. Girls, remember, £100,000 is your budget. They want to spend £100,000 for the wedding and of course 90,000 is spent for the reception. £1,000 get the Maharaj out of the way first and then big reception. A lot of wine, drinking, and forget about the youngster, the parents really enjoy because in the 7th generation they have not tasted wine and now they are tasting wine. They can't let go. They immediately start taking it to wine. In no time the music starts and all the parents jump up first. Not the children, not the youngsters, they're a bit embarrassed. But the parents, they're not embarrassed. All the masis and kakas jump up. They've got big bellies, popping out. And they start dancing and the belly is popping about and they are dancing and showing, look, we are so successful, westernized. And it's sad sight, very sad. And the youngsters are going, oh no, they're embarrassing us, let them sit down. We are the ones who got married. But this kind of things happen. Now why I'm making fun of it? Because this message should go out into greater society. What are you doing? you are demolishing the credibility of your religion. You're making a mockery of your religion, mockery. The thing you should do is this: instead of spending £100,000 and flashing it and showing off, see, I'm so rich, 100,000, instead of spending money, why don't you teach your youngsters, your boys and your girls, higher ideas? It'll cost you nothing. Teach them how to live with each other, live for each other. So when a man and a boy and a girl begins to learn that philosophy of learning to live for each other, not learning to live with each other, okay, I allowed that one for you, so you must allow me this, commerce, that won't work, it'll crack up. When you say I learn to live for each other, when the boy and the girl live for each other, in fact girls and boys, I'm telling you, find a partner who is got that kind of caliber, then you are safe. Your marriage is safe. At the moment you blow £100,000, in 1 week the girl is back. Daddy had a problem with the boy, you know. He told me the bedroom color should be pink, blue, and I said pink. And how dare he? And I came home. So daddy said £100,000 down the drain. You see, so teach them higher ideals rather than this kind of superficial, kind of very poor, almost degrading aspect to your culture. Teach them high ideas. Teach them how to live for each other. See what happens. Your community will come closer. Your families will come closer. And that family unit won't crack up at the first instance. It will stay together. There is a natural glue that will hold them together because they will learn this important lesson, learning to live for each other. Try and attempt it in your own family, with your father, your mother, your parents, your children. Attempt it, you see the difference. In my case, I'm in trouble with my daughter, real hell for me, but never mind.